Just to give you some updates on what's going on here today. So we will be practicing indoors. And so as far as participating in practice right now or not, so we will not have Matthew Stafford practicing today, Joe Dahl, Jamie Collins, and Kenny Golladay. As far as the update for Frank Ragnow, he was close at the end of the week. He got a little bit of limited practice, so we'll continue in that vein with him this week as well. Just limited, and then see how far that we can progress him as we get toward the end of the week. Question.
Right. O'Hara.
Thanks, Coach. This is about Matthew Stafford. When he was on his Zoom call the other day, he said he'll play if he can and all of that. When does a coach step in and say, look, for your own protection, we're just going to sit you down this week? I mean, how does that dynamic work?
Yeah, all that taken into consideration. The first thing is the safety of the player, and it's we will never put him out there in a situation where he's going to sustain permanent damage or has a really fairly good chance of re-injury. So with Matthew, I think the best thing for him is that he's got the best feel and read for his body. So we'll continue to progress like we normally do with him. And some of the other injuries are resolving. So we'll see how this injury on his ankle resolves as well by the end of the week.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Dave.
Sorry about that. Darrell had to unmute there. Is Frank Ragnow, is he back talking? Can he speak yet, or how's that progressing, I guess?
Exactly. So he is speaking, but really what I'm asking him to do is I don't want him to overextend it or anything during the week. So the communication will be minimal. I mean, he's talking and all that, but I don't want him barking out any calls or signals that way, just so that we can continue to let it heal as much as we can, all the way to Sunday. I think that's kind of the prudent thing to do. And, he's on board with that.
Right. Makes sense. Mike asked you about the, Stafford in the quarterback situation. Who will take first team reps at quarterback today in practice? And do you have a determination to make if Stafford can't go on which of those backups you play?
Yeah. So right now, Chase will take the first team reps with the guys. We'll mix Dave in a little bit. I mean, he'll obviously take most of the scout team, but Chase will be the guy that goes first.
Okay. And your plan would be for him to start then if Stafford can't go? Yeah. And then last thing I wanted to ask is Bo Davis, is he still in COVID protocols or what's the update with your
He is still in the protocol, yes.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
Chris.
Hey, Darrell, thanks for the time. Just a couple quick ones on Kenny. You mentioned a couple weeks back that you guys were maybe close to having the conversation about putting him on IR for the year. Obviously, that hasn't happened yet. I was just wondering why you stuck with the plan as is.
Right. It's a good question, Chris. I'm not sure that I have enough of the information, but there's more that goes into being able to put him on IR, and particularly putting him on IR at the end of the season. There's conversation, and about that. I don't think on the last 3 weeks that you can just put him on IR. There's ramifications for that. So right now we're continuing to keep him on the roster.
And then to go back to something else you told us about Kenny, I think it was in August, you mentioned, you were talking to him about trying to take his game to the next level and being with, that DeAndre Hopkins, I think Michael Thomas was the other guy you mentioned. I don't know if you were able to tell whether he got to that next level with as little as he's played this year, but can you assess at all if he's sort of taken those steps forward?
Yeah, I would think that's a fair statement, Chris. It's a very hard season to assess with what he was able to do. He wasn't able to be out there enough for us this year to really, I think, make those steps that I was hoping that he would be able to make. So right now, obviously he's not there. Does he have the ability to be there? I think he does. And that's, obviously that's what we're looking for from him. But the most important thing for him is to get healthy, get his body right, and then be able to handle the rigors of a 16-game plus season.
Thanks, Darrell.
Mike.
Yeah, hey, Bev, how are you? I'm just curious, how do you handle your running backs this week? Do you handle them kind of as normal, or do you try to get carry on a little bit more run, or do you just give Adrian the ball 100 times to kind of, how do you handle them this week?
Yeah, I think Mike will continue to handle them the way that we have. DeAndre is going to be the starting running back, and then from there, we'll go from there with how we want to divvy up the rest of the carries. Carry on will end up being obviously the third down back and that type of situation, and we'll continue to move that way.
And there is a report that part of J-Ron Curse's issues were that he violated team rules. Is that accurate? And was that part of the reason that he was released?
Well, like I've told you guys, and I think I've told obviously the whole team, like everything that we do matters. So everything that goes into any situation matters. So all of that is all of that out there. I won't get into the specifics of what happened with JK. At the end of the day, we decided to make a change so that we could end up seeing some of the younger players that are on the roster. Obviously, give him other opportunities with other teams elsewhere, and that's kind of where we left it with him. But
did he violate team rules?
I don't know if I even want to comment on that, but I would just say that everything matters.
Okay. And the last thing I want to ask you is with Carry On. Why did he never really maybe get a bigger role, except when guys were injured at points this season? Where was that maybe disconnect for him?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. I think I would have to kind of wrap my brain around a lot of that, but I think that we have right now we just have a very distinct role for him, and he's he really does excel at that role. I know that I said earlier in the year, one of the games he was the MVP in the game. Sometimes some of the stuff that he does goes unnoticed. I think he's done a fair job for us, or a nice job for us when he has been given opportunities to run the ball as well. But right now, that's just kind of the role that we've given him.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
Tim, last one.
Hey, Darrell, thanks for taking the time. We talked to Coach Zimmer this morning, and he said, one of the important things about a week like this, I know the playoffs aren't a possibility, but he said, this is the last game that I'll remember going into the off season. I'm just curious, what's your message been to the players? What kind of, what do you want to see from those guys this week?
Yeah, I think, Tim, it's the same thing that I've kind of talked about, almost every day that I've been up here. I basically talked to the players today about the love of this game and basically respect for this game and what that means and what that looks like. I think for all of us, we have a great love for this game. To echo Zim, yes, this is the last game that you'll play, and it will stick with you for a long time. It's the one that you'll remember the most. But there's still other things that we will remember. But as far as as going out, it's what we signed up for. It's what we love to do. If you respect this game, then you'll give it everything that you have. We don't know when our last opportunity is going to be to play this great game. I remember the day was my last opportunity. If you'd give me an opportunity to go play right now, I'd go play. That's how much I love this game. But I think those guys, sometimes we lose track of that. And I think it's important for them to remember, come Monday morning, for some guys, it may be the last time that they ever put that uniform on again. For some guys, like I said earlier, we're all in an opportunity for us to be evaluated. Whether it's here, whether it's other places, everybody across the league is looking at it, and we want to make sure that we do a great job of putting our best foot forward, showing our competitive side, how we like to compete, how we like to work.